Welcome back to Fluent English Conversations podcast.
You are sitting on your sofa at the end of a long, heavy day. Your eyes are tired. Your back aches a little bit from sitting in an office chair or standing at your job. You open your phone and scroll through social media. You just want to relax your brain. But instead, you see a picture of your old university friend. She just opened her own beautiful coffee shop. The walls are painted yellow and she looks so happy. You swipe down. Another friend just learned to speak Italian. He is standing in front of the Colosseum in Rome, smiling at the camera.
You look up from your bright screen and you look at your own dark living room. The cold cup of tea on the table, the laundry waiting to be washed. You feel a sudden heavy weight on your chest. You think, I am still in the exact same place. Everyone else is running forward, and I am standing completely still. The doors of opportunity are already closed for me. I have absolutely no energy left to chase them. It is just too late for me now.
We have all felt that heavy weight. Every single one of us. It feels exactly like wearing a wet winter coat. It pulls your shoulders down. It makes every step feel incredibly slow and difficult. But what if we told you that this feeling is completely normal? And more importantly, it is a complete lie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I am Felix.
And I am Emily. Today, we are talking about that heavy, wet coat. We are talking about the painful feeling that you missed your chance in life. And we are going to show you how to gently drop that wet coat on the floor. We will show you how to start walking again, using very small, quiet, easy steps.
Exactly. Let us be deeply honest with each other right now. Life is exhausting. Sometimes just cooking a warm dinner after working for 8 or 9 hours is a huge, magnificent victory. If you feel lazy on a Tuesday evening, or if you feel too tired to open your English book, please do not feel guilty. You are a normal human being. Your internal battery is simply low.
We are definitely not going to tell you to wake up at 5 a.m, drink raw eggs, and run 10 kilometers. That is punishing yourself. We believe in gentle, quiet progress. Today, we want to teach you some powerful English phrases that will quietly change how you see your own potential.
We are going to explore these phrases very slowly. We will explain them in simple English, give you a bright picture in your mind, and show you exactly how to use them in daily life. And remember, we really want you to practice with us. When we tell you to repeat a phrase, please say it out loud. Let your mouth feel the words.
Let us begin with the biggest problem. The dark thought that stops us from doing anything at all. The phrase is, "It is too late for me."
It is too late for me. This phrase means you deeply believe you are too old or too much time has already passed to start a new hobby, a new career, or a new language.
Think of it like walking up to a beautiful restaurant. You want to eat there so badly, but you arrive at 5 minutes past 9. You look through the glass window. The lights are turned down low. The waiter is putting the chairs on top of the tables. He is sweeping the floor. You tell yourself, I cannot eat here. The kitchen is closed. It is too late for me.
That is a perfect sad picture. We use this excuse all the time. For example, my neighbor Thomas worked in a local bank for 20 long years. He looked tired every day. He secretly loved baking fresh bread. He watched videos about flour and yeast every night. But he always said, "Felix, I am 45 years old. I have a mortgage. I cannot go to culinary school and open a bakery now. It is too late for me."
But is the restaurant really closed forever? No. We tell ourselves this sad story because it is a very safe story. If you truly believe the restaurant is closed, you do not have to knock on the door. You do not have to feel nervous. You do not have to try. You can just go back home, sit on your comfortable sofa, and go to sleep. Saying it is too late is just a heavy blanket we hide under. Let us practice this phrase so we can recognize it. Say it with me and notice the sad rhythm. It is too late for me.
It is too late for me.
Good. Now let us completely destroy that dark excuse with our second phrase. The second phrase brings the light back. The phrase is, age is just a number.
Age is just a number. This beautiful phrase simply means how many years you have been alive on this planet does not control what you can learn or do. Your physical age does not define your mental future.
It is exactly like looking at the battery percentage on your mobile phone. Just because your phone says 20%, it does not mean the phone immediately stops working. It still makes clear phone calls. It still plays your favorite music. It still sends messages. The number on the screen does not stop the complex machine from doing its job. Age is just a number.
I love that modern metaphor. My Aunt Sarah is a fantastic example of this. She never knew how to swim. She grew up far away from the sea. She was terrified of deep water her entire life. When she turned 55, she finally decided to take a beginner swimming class at the local sports center.
Wow, 55? That takes so much courage. How did it go?
Well, on the first day, she was standing in the shallow pool, wearing her swimming cap, surrounded by 6-year-old children. She looked ridiculous, and she knew it. But she simply did not care anymore. She laughed at herself. She learned to blow bubbles. She learned to float. Now, she swims in the cold ocean every single summer morning. For her, age is just a number.
That gives me so much hope. If she can learn to swim at 55 with little children, we can learn English at 30 or 40. Let us practice this uplifting phrase. Say it out loud with a smile. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number.
Beautiful. But Felix, let us look at the other side. Even if people logically know their age is not a strict barrier, they still feel a deep pain. They feel like they lost their one special golden opportunity. They use our third target phrase. They say, I missed the train.
Miss the train. This is a very common, very visual English chunk. It means you lost a good chance, a perfect moment, or a specific opportunity, and you believe you can never, ever get it back.
Imagine you are standing on a cold, windy train platform. It is raining quietly. You look up and see the metal doors of the train slide shut. You hear the loud whistle. The train slowly moves away down the dark tracks. You are standing there completely alone. You feel empty inside because you truly think that was the only train going to your dream destination. You missed the train.
Yes, we hear this phrase constantly when people talk about their careers or their education. Someone might say, "I did not study computer science when I was 20 years old at university. Now all the young 20-year-old kids are writing code and building applications. I missed the train to become a software developer. I must stay in my boring office job forever."
But here is the wonderful secret about trains, Felix. In real life, there is always another train. The station schedule is full of trains. Some are fast, some are slow, some take a more scenic route through the mountains. You just have to sit on the bench, wait on the platform a little longer, and buy a new ticket. The first train is never the last train. Let us shadow this phrase together. I missed the train.
I missed the train.
When we strongly believe we missed the train, something very dangerous and very quiet happens in our brain. This brings us to our fourth phrase. This is a psychological term, but we use it in daily conversation. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, this is a massive concept. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Let me explain this in simple terms. It means when you deeply believe a bad thing is going to happen, your negative belief makes you behave in a specific way that actually causes the bad thing to happen. You accidentally create your own bad luck.
I have the perfect picture for this. It is exactly like riding a bicycle down a narrow dirt path. You see a large, sharp rock on the right side of the path. You panic. You think, "Oh no, I am going to hit that big rock. I know I will hit it." Because you keep staring directly at the rock with wide eyes, your hands naturally steer the bicycle handles right into it. Crash. You hit the rock. You hit it not because you are a bad rider, but because you expected to hit it. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
In real daily life, it looks exactly like this. You tell yourself, "My English speaking skills are terrible. People will definitely laugh at my accent." Because you believe this scary story, you never open your mouth to speak English in business meetings. Because you never speak, you never practice. Because you never practice, your English truly never improves. And 5 years later, you say, "See, I was right all along. My English is terrible."
Exactly. You stared at the rock, and you steered your life right into it. You created the exact result you were afraid of. Let us say this interesting, longer phrase together. Take your time. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
So this is the big question. How do we stop looking at the scary rock on the path? How do we steer our bicycle in a better, safer direction? We need to develop our fifth phrase, a growth mindset.
Growth mindset. This is a very popular modern phrase. It means you deeply believe your brain is flexible. It can stretch, change, and learn entirely new things, no matter how old or tired you are. You believe your skills can grow with gentle, regular effort.
Think of your brain not as a gray, hard, concrete parking lot, but as a quiet, rich, green garden. In a concrete parking lot, absolutely nothing can grow. It is finished, it is solid. If you drop a seed on concrete, it just dies in the sun. But a garden is made of soft, dark dirt. You can always walk into your garden and plant a new, tiny seed. You can add a little bit of water from a watering can, and quietly, invisibly, under the ground, a green plant will eventually push through the soil. Having a growth mindset means knowing you always have a garden inside your head.
Yes, planting a seed is the perfect way to describe it. When a person has a growth mindset, they behave differently. They do not look at a difficult math problem and say, "I am bad at math. I am stupid." Instead, they look at the problem and say, "I am not good at math yet." That one tiny word, yet, is pure, fresh water for the mental garden. It leaves the door open for tomorrow.
Let us repeat this beautiful concept: growth mindset.
Growth mindset.
I want to pause our list here, Felix, because something very interesting happened to me recently, and I think it will help our listeners. I was trying to learn Spanish last year, and I kept failing completely. I would wake up on Sunday, drink a huge cup of strong coffee, and force myself to study grammar rules for 2 hours straight. By Monday, I forgot everything. By Wednesday, I stopped trying. I felt so guilty and useless.
I know that heavy feeling perfectly. It is the cycle of excitement and then deep disappointment. What finally changed for you?
I realized I was focusing entirely on the massive, distant result. I wanted to be perfectly fluent. I wanted to speak to native speakers in Madrid without any mistakes. That was my grand goal. But a huge goal is exactly like carrying a very heavy backpack up a steep mountain. You stand at the bottom. You look way up at the snowy top of the mountain. The backpack cuts into your shoulders, and you just sit down on a rock and cry. You have absolutely no energy to take even one step. The goal is too big. It crushes you.
That is a brilliant visual. The heavy backpack crushes your motivation. So, what did you do? How did you take the backpack off?
I switched my entire focus. I learned a new method. The phrase is system over goal. A system is not a heavy backpack. A system is just putting on a very comfortable, soft pair of walking shoes. My system became incredibly simple and quiet. I decided I will not try to be fluent. I will just listen to one short 3-minute Spanish audio lesson while I wait for my morning coffee to brew. That is it. No heavy backpack, no snowy mountain. Just a daily, gentle routine in my kitchen. And suddenly, it felt so incredibly easy. I stopped feeling guilty because I was winning every single morning before I even finished my breakfast.
That is pure magic, Emily. System over goal. It removes all the heavy stress and expectation. You do not worry about the scary top of the mountain. You just look down at your comfortable shoes, taking one tiny step. And that actually reminds me of a psychological trick I use when I feel completely unmotivated and lazy. Have you ever heard of the 2-minute rule?
The 2-minute rule? No, I have not. Is that about time management?
It is the most gentle, forgiving way to start absolutely anything in your life. The rule says, if you want to build a brand new habit, you must make the action take less than 2 minutes to do.
Wait, hold on. Only 2 minutes? But Felix, let us be realistic. Can you genuinely learn a complex language or get a strong, healthy body by working for only 2 minutes a day? That sounds far too small to be effective.
That is exactly the secret point, Emily. It must be tiny. It is like opening a heavy wooden door just 1 tiny inch. If you want to start reading nonfiction books in English, your goal is not to read an entire chapter. That is a heavy backpack. Your goal is simply to open the book and read exactly 1 paragraph. That takes 1 minute. If you want to start exercising to fix your sore back, your goal is not to drive to the gym for an hour. Your goal is to put your yoga mat on the living room floor and do 2 stretches. That is it. Task finished.
I love that approach. It is so ridiculously small that your tired brain cannot possibly find a good excuse to say no. Even on your worst, most stressful day, you can find 2 minutes.
Exactly. It completely murders the fear of starting. The hardest part is always starting. But once you start, once that heavy wooden door is open just 1 inch, human nature takes over. You usually keep going naturally. You read 1 paragraph and you think, well, I am already holding the book. I can read 1 more page. You do 2 stretches on the mat and you think, my back feels a little better. I will do 1 more stretch. But you only officially promised yourself 2 minutes. It is a wonderful, gentle mental trick that removes all the pressure.
Let us connect that tiny, gentle action to our 6th target phrase. This is a very classic phrase. Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. This is an old, famous English idiom. It comes from a children's story about a fast rabbit and a slow turtle. It means that consistent, calm, peaceful daily action is always much better and much more successful than moving very fast, panicking, and burning all your energy.
Imagine you're holding an empty glass and you want to fill it with water from the kitchen sink. If you pull the handle and turn the tap on maximum power, the water explodes out. It splashes everywhere. It hits your shirt, it covers the counter, and your glass remains half empty. But if you turn the tap on gently, carefully, a quiet, smooth, unbroken stream of water flows down. It fills the glass perfectly to the very top without a single drop on the counter. Slow and steady wins the race.
We see this exact dynamic all the time with language students. The stressed student who tries to study grammar for 5 painful hours on a Saturday afternoon always gets a headache. They close the book, they hate English, and they do nothing for a whole month. They forget every single word. But the relaxed student who uses the 2-minute rule and studies quietly while drinking tea for just 5 minutes every single day slowly absorbs the language. Their brain builds permanent connections. The calm, gentle water fills the glass.
Let us shadow this wise, calming idiom. Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Now, I have another little practical secret to share about these tiny actions. When you start doing your 2-minute rule every day, you really need a physical way to see your progress. The brain needs a visual reward. I started using a large paper calendar taped directly to my bedroom wall. Have you heard of the productivity phrase, "Do not break the chain"?
I have definitely heard of it, but please explain the visual to our listeners. How does the chain work?
It is a brilliant visual game. Every single day that I complete my tiny Spanish audio lesson while making coffee, I walk into my bedroom, take a thick, bright red marker, and draw a huge red cross on that day's square. Monday, red cross. Tuesday, red cross. Wednesday, red cross. After 5 days, you look at the paper and you see a solid, continuous line of red crosses. You have built a visual chain.
Ah, I understand. And then the calendar becomes a personal game against yourself. You do not want to lose the game.
Exactly. It is like building a strong brick wall with your bare hands. Each bright red cross is one solid brick. When you have a beautiful, strong row of 14 bricks, you really do not want to leave an ugly, empty hole in the middle of your perfect wall. You feel a strong desire to place the next brick. Even if I feel slightly sick, or if I had a terrible argument at work, I will still do my 2 minutes of Spanish just so I can take the red marker and draw that satisfying cross. I simply refuse to break the chain.
That is so incredibly powerful because it gives your brain immediate physical satisfaction. You do not have to wait a whole year to feel proud of yourself. You do not have to wait until you are perfectly fluent. You feel the sweet taste of victory the exact second you draw that red cross.
But wait, Felix, let us be realistic again. What happens if you get the flu or you have a family emergency and you actually do break the chain? Does the wall collapse?
That is a wonderful question. If you break the chain, you must practice extreme self-forgiveness. You look at the empty square on the calendar, you take a deep breath, and you say, "I am human. I was tired." You do not burn the calendar. You do not give up. You just pick up the red marker the very next day, and you gently start a brand new chain. The old bricks are still there. The progress is not lost.
That is so comforting to hear. But Felix, even with small steps, even with 2-minute rules and red markers, people still feel nervous. They are deeply afraid of looking foolish, of making a grammar mistake in public, or sounding stupid.
You are absolutely right. Fear is always hiding quietly in the background, like a shadow in the corner of the room. And that brings us to our 7th powerful phrase. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. This means you do not try to be a fearless superhero. You completely accept that you are terrified. Your stomach hurts. Your hands are sweating. You do not try to push the fear away. You simply carry the fear with you, and you take the action while your hands are physically shaking.
Think of it like jumping into a cold swimming pool on a hot summer day. You stand at the edge, looking down. You cannot magically remove the cold temperature of the water by staring at it. You cannot successfully convince your brain that the water is actually warm bath water. Your brain knows it is cold. The only possible way to get comfortable is to hold your breath, jump in, and feel the shocking cold hit your skin. You feel the cold shock, but you jump anyway. And what happens? 30 seconds later, your body completely adjusts. The water feels fine. You start swimming.
That is so profoundly true. Fear is not a thick brick wall that stops you from moving. It is just a cold, sharp wind that blows against your face. Yes, the wind is uncomfortable. Yes, it makes your eyes water. But you can still put your head down and walk forward in a cold wind. It cannot actually stop your legs from moving.
For example, imagine you need to make an important phone call in English to a client. You are staring at the telephone on your desk. Your heart is beating rapidly against your ribs. You feel slightly sick to your stomach. You say to yourself out loud, "I am absolutely terrified right now," and that is completely okay. And then, with a shaking finger, you press the dial button. You feel the dark fear, but you do the action anyway.
Let us practice this incredibly brave phrase together. Stand up a little straighter if you can. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Before we continue to our final phrases, I want to gently pause and speak directly to you, the listener. If you are enjoying this honest conversation, if you are washing your dishes or walking your dog in the park right now, and you feel just a little bit more hopeful than before, please subscribe to our channel. It is one tiny silent click for you, but it acts like sunshine for our garden. It helps our podcast grow so much.
And please, hit the like button. Tell the computer algorithm that you deeply enjoy peaceful, helpful, encouraging English practice instead of loud, fast videos. And we genuinely want to hear your voice. Leave a comment below the video. Tell us, what is one tiny thing you want to start this week? What is your personal 2-minute rule going to be? Are you going to read one paragraph? Do one stretch?
We read every single comment with a cup of tea in our hands. Your stories truly make our day brighter. Okay, let us return to the lesson and look at our 8th phrase. We have been talking a lot about tiny, seemingly invisible actions. Our next phrase describes the beautiful magic of what happens when you combine them over time. The phrase is, small things add up.
Small things add up. This phrase means that tiny, quiet, seemingly insignificant daily actions collect together over a long period of time and eventually become something massive, heavy, and very important.
Imagine you have a slightly broken, dripping faucet in your kitchen sink. Just one single, clear drop of water falls from the metal tap every 10 seconds. Plop, plop, plop. If you watch it for 1 minute, it seems like absolutely nothing. You can wipe it away with one finger. You barely even notice the sound anymore. But if you put a large plastic bucket under that dripping tap and you walk away, what happens? By the end of the week, you return to the kitchen, and that massive bucket is completely full of heavy water. You cannot even lift the bucket. Small things add up.
It is the unavoidable mathematics of daily life. If you decide to learn just 3 new English words every single morning, it feels like nothing. Learning 3 words takes maybe 5 minutes. Your brain barely works. But let us look at the math. In one single year, that simple habit adds up to over 1,000 new words. 1,000 words is the exact difference between sitting in silence and having a full, funny conversation with a stranger in a coffee shop. The tiny, silent drops completely fill the bucket.
Let us shadow this satisfying phrase. Listen to the gentle rhythm. Small things add up.
Small things add up.
But Felix, we always promise to be deeply honest on this podcast. Even if we use the wonderful 2-minute rule, even if we build a satisfying chain of red crosses on our wall calendar, doing something every single day is still actual work. It still requires mental energy. Some days, it is just deeply uncomfortable and boring.
Yes, it is. We cannot pretend it is always a party. And that honesty leads perfectly to our 9th phrase. When you finally reach the top of the hill, when you finally see the beautiful result of your small, boring steps, you will use this specific chunk. You will wipe the sweat from your forehead and say, "Worth the effort." Or simply, "Worth it."
Worth the effort. This highly positive phrase means that the final reward, the beautiful result you achieved, is so much bigger, sweeter, and better than the temporary pain, sweat, and hard work you had to put in to get there.
Let us use a cozy food metaphor to understand this feeling. Imagine it is Sunday. You decide to bake a fresh, complex apple pie from absolute scratch. You cannot just push a button on a microwave. You have to stand in the kitchen for an hour. You have to carefully peel 10 hard apples. Your fingers ache. You have to mix the cold butter and the flour. You get white powder all over your black shirt. You get it on the floor. Your lower back starts to hurt. And then you have to wait a whole hour for it to bake in the hot oven. It is frustrating.
But then the kitchen timer rings. You open the hot oven door. The incredible smell of cinnamon and baked apples fills the entire house. You cut a thick slice. You put a scoop of cold, sweet vanilla ice cream on top. You sit at the table and you take that very first warm bite. Suddenly, all the messy flour, all the waiting, the sore back, the frustration, it all completely vanishes from your memory. The taste is perfect. You close your eyes and you say, "Wow, this was absolutely worth the effort."
Exactly. It is the deep contrast between cheap, fast rewards and slow, difficult rewards. Scrolling on your phone gives you a fast, cheap reward. But learning a language or saving money to buy your own small apartment is baking the pie. For 2 years, you cannot buy new clothes. You cannot eat at expensive restaurants. It is annoying. But the day you take the shiny metal key and unlock the front door of your very own apartment, you drop your bags on the floor. You look around the empty room and you smile. You say out loud to the empty room, every skipped coffee was worth it. Let us repeat both versions of this powerful phrase. Worth the effort.
Worth the effort.
Worth it. We have finally arrived at our 10th and final phrase for today. And I truly believe this is the most encouraging, deeply comforting phrase for anyone who feels like they are starting from absolute zero, especially as an adult. The beautiful phrase is nowhere to go but up.
Nowhere to go but up. This is a very visual idiom. It means you are currently at the very beginning of a journey, or you are at the lowest possible point of a skill, so your situation simply cannot get any worse. You cannot fail any lower. Because you are at the bottom, every single movement you make can only be an improvement. You have absolute, beautiful freedom to make terrible mistakes.
Imagine you are standing in the lobby on the ground floor of a massive glass skyscraper. You walk inside the small elevator box. Can the elevator go down? No. There is solid ground beneath you. There is absolutely no basement. If you close your eyes and press a button, any button on the panel, the elevator will only lift you higher into the sky. You literally have nowhere to go but up.
This perfectly describes the hidden magic of being a complete beginner. When you buy cheap watercolors and try to paint your very first picture, of course it looks like a confused child drew it. The colors are muddy, the trees look like green blobs. But your second picture will be slightly better. Your third picture will be even better. Because you started at absolute zero, every single brushstroke you make is a clear improvement. You cannot possibly lose the game, because simply playing the game makes you better.
That is so true. So many smart adults completely hate being beginners. They avoid it. Why? Because they are respected experts in their daily office jobs. They are senior managers. They are doctors. They are experienced parents. They have strong egos. They want to be perfectly fluent instantly. They hate the feeling of being clumsy and foolish. But letting go of that heavy ego is such a peaceful relief. Being a clumsy beginner is a rare gift. The heavy pressure of perfection is completely off your shoulders. You are allowed to be messy. You have nowhere to go but up.
Let us shadow this final, deeply comforting phrase together. Take a breath and let go of the pressure. Nowhere to go but up.
Nowhere to go but up.
Let us gently bring all of these concepts together before we finish. I want you to think about your current life right now. Maybe you are still sitting on that sofa we talked about at the beginning. Maybe you still feel the ghost of that wet winter coat resting on your tired shoulders. You have been quietly telling yourself a dark story, a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say, I am too tired. I am too old. I completely missed the train.
But please remember the gentle system over the grand goal. You absolutely do not need to lift the heavy, scary backpack today. You just need to walk to the closet and find a comfortable pair of soft walking shoes. Try the tiny 2-minute rule tomorrow morning when you wake up. Do not try to change your whole life. Just slowly open the heavy wooden door 1 single inch. Read 1 paragraph. Listen to 1 song in English.
Remember to build your visual wall of progress. Put 1 bright red cross on your paper calendar. Don't break the chain. And when the sharp, cold wind of fear inevitably hits your face, do not run away. Stand still. Feel the cold fear blowing past you, and gently do the action anyway. Because small, quiet drops of water will add up, and eventually, one day, you will look down and your heavy bucket will be completely full.
And when you taste that sweet apple pie, it is going to be incredibly worth the effort. We promise you that. So take a long, deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs. You have an entire rich green garden quietly waiting inside your mind. It is just waiting for a tiny drop of water. You have absolutely nowhere to go but up.
Thank you so much for spending this quiet time with us today. Please share this podcast episode with a good friend or a family member who might feel a little bit stuck or sad right now. Sometimes just hearing a gentle voice say that somebody else understands their fatigue is all the fuel a person needs to start again.
And please do not forget to tell us in the comments section below about your tiny 2-minute goal for this coming week. What is your 1-inch door? We are reading your words. We are cheering for you from across the internet. Be very kind to your tired mind. Use gentle, slow steps. And we will see you in the next episode.
Goodbye, everyone. Keep walking slowly.
Goodbye.